I received a question about pertaining to how it's like to have 4 kids. Alright, this is something I'm gonna speak about because I think some people could learn a lot from this. And, it is going pretty personal, but I think, sharing a little about my personal life can really help other people make some, better decisions in life and really know what they really want out of life. As far as the children, I do have 4 kids, and I'm married, and you know, we've been together me and my wife been together for about 7 years. Married for about 5 years right now, and we do have 4 kids together. Alright, ages 4, 3, 2, and 1. So, yes, we are very busy. And before I speak about how it's like to have 4 kids at such a young age grouped together, I'll go into a little bit of why I decided, to have children. Alright, well, the thing is, before I met my wife, I had a lot of difficult time, meeting the right woman. I'm a very passionate person, and it shows in the way that I practice martial arts. And anytime that I meet a woman, basically, I'll be overwhelmed with passion and expression of, like, I guess, my love or whatnot. And a lot of relationships have failed to the point where I ended up almost giving up hope into finding the right woman. So it came to the point where I was like, I wanted to just put my energies into something else because I didn't think that I'd be able to meet the right one for me. So I put all my energies mainly in the martial arts and just enjoying other things in my life, like educating myself, reading, and stuff like that, writing. Alright, and then out of nowhere, I ended up meeting, my future wife, and when I met her, we kicked it off very, very fast, and we connected very fast, to the point where we pretty much knew that we wanted to be together, to the end, and that we were very right for each other. And so it just happened out of nowhere. And the thing about it was I was prepared for it to happen. I felt throughout most of my life, I felt a lot more mature for my age. So I met her at the age of 21, but it's almost like, and she is older than me. She's like 4 years older than me. And it's almost like, sometimes I feel like my mind is like, I'm like over 30, but then my body is 21. So what ended up happening is I meet a lot of women that were not ready to meet somebody as intense as me. But as far as, Jenny was concerned, she was ready and willing to take it to the level that I wanted to take it to, which was pretty much all the way. Because I'm very intense. When I'm entering in relationships, I take it serious. And she was willing to take it serious as well. And that's why we connected so well. Alright, so we kicked it off, and we ended up, moving in together. Things were going very well. When we were spending a lot of time together. At the time I was in college, and it was my last year in college, and she spent the whole year with me, living with me while I was in college, and it was great. We had so much free time together, and we just enjoyed the life, not worrying about working full-time or not. We just enjoying our life. I went to class here and there, but most of the time we're working out, running together, and just enjoying our time together. It was great. Alright, when I went to college, after I graduated from college, we ended up moving in together in a studio. And she ended up working full-time. I ended up working full-time. And because of our conflicting schedules, we rarely really got as much time to spend together. And that was what really was bothering me a lot at the time. Because for me, what's the point of life when you are supposed to enjoy life, but then you're busy working and you can't even spend time with the people that you love? That really bothered me. And she was stuck working because she had a lot of bills to pay. And for me, I didn't have that many bills to pay, but I wanted to spend time with her, but she's busy at work. So it was a really difficult situation and how to resolve the situation. It came to the point where I was thinking about what is meaningful in life to me. And obviously my work was not that important to me. I don't It was just a way to make money. But what to me what was meaningful? And to me it was spending time with her, but if she's working all the time, what else is meaningful to me? And I just felt that inside I just love teaching. I love spending time with people that I care about. And one of the um, automatic natural draws was when you have strong love in a relationship, you have this, I guess, this inner desire to want to take it further. What goes beyond um, marriage? What goes beyond the connection that you have with a woman? To me, the next thing that's beyond, and probably the deepest you could get with a woman, is to actually um, purposefully create a child with the woman that you're with. That to me is the highest level pretty much that you could get with the woman. And there was a natural draw to that because there was a strong love and connection. And having a child would give me the opportunity to teach the child and be there for the child, and almost just an extension of the woman that I was in love with, an extension of her, of where I could expand my love you know to someone else other than my wife. And that was probably one of the main reasons at the time of why I decided to do that. And I just felt that I had a lot to share, and I wanted to share it with somebody. And yes, I could have been a teacher and try to get a PhD and teach college and all that, but I feel that it's just, I shouldn't have to put all that effort and money in order to get to a certain position in order to teach. I felt that when you have the opportunity and you're in love with somebody and you have the opportunity to create a child, you don't need government authority to do that. You don't need to be certified. You don't need to pay, $40,000 a year to get a PhD in order to be certified to teach. I could, create a child when I want it with the person that I'm in love with, and then right away, I could be there for the child, teach the child, just share, what I wanted to share, and that was, like I said, that's one of the main reasons why. And another thing is, people might wonder why do you have 4 kids? Why so many? Well, another thing is, I only grew up with one sibling. I have one sister. I always wondered how it'd be like to have a brother, and I never had the opportunity. Also, I grew up around families that were smaller families. Every family just usually have 2 kids or 1 kid. I was never around big families. So I wanted my kids to grow up with brothers and sisters where they always have somebody to look out for them, someone to help guide them. My sister helped guided me a lot, but she's 5 years ahead of me, 5 years older than me. So there's a gap. And because of that, we're not as close as we could have been. And I think with the main reasons why I wanted more kids than just one was to give the kids an opportunity to grow close to their brothers and sisters, where they could really grow close and be there for each other and help each other throughout life. And that's one of my main reasons. I wanted I wanted 2 girls and 2 boys, so that my daughter would know how it'd be like to have a sister, and then my son would know how, a sister and a brother, and then my son would know how it's like to have a brother and a sister. That's what I wanted. But we ended up having 3 boys and 1 girl, which is fine. But that's originally what I wanted, just for them to experience, having some siblings that are very close with them to help them out through life. Someone to play with all the